Have you ever, really pushed it in a workout and felt that intense burn in your muscles?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe watched dough rise,
Yeah.
thinking about how yeast makes that happen.
Right. These everyday things.
What's actually going on there? Like deep down in the cells, yours or the yeast's, to get the energy for that.
That's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We're doing a deep dive into, well, cellular energy, specifically glycolysis and fermentation.
Okay.
Basically how our cells and other tiny organisms too manage to power themselves, especially, when oxygen might be running low.
And our mission here really is to take these, let's face it, sometimes complex biology ideas
That can be, yeah.
and use the insights you've gathered to find those essential nuggets, like a shortcut to understanding how life actually gets its power. Make it clear, hopefully kind of engaging too.
Absolutely, because the starting point is universal. Every single living thing needs energy. It's fundamental, non-negotiable.
Is the currency, you're right, for everything from, I don't know, blinking to thinking.
Exactly, the currency of life.
And the main way life banks that currency is through cellular respiration. That's the big picture process.
That's the main one, yes. Think of it like a really efficient factory assembly line.
Okay.
It takes food molecules, usually glucose, breaks them down bit by bit,
And captures the energy.
captures it in a usable form, specifically ATP. That's the cell's ready to spend cash.
ATP. Got it.
And what's really cool is that this whole big process, cellular respiration, it always kicks off with one specific pathway,
Which is?
glycolysis. Stage one. It's ancient, it's universal, pretty much everything does it.
Okay, glycolysis.
Mm.
So if it's the starting point, what are the absolute must-know facts about it, where and how?
Right, good question. Two key things. First, it's anaerobic,
Yeah.
meaning it does not need oxygen.
At all.
Works whether oxygen is there or not.
Okay, anaerobic, no O2 required. And the second thing,
It happens in the cytoplasm.
which is the main jelly-like stuff inside the cell.
Exactly. Outside the specialized power stations, the mitochondria.
Yep.
Just in the general cell fluid.
Okay, so what goes into glycolysis and what comes out?
You start with one molecule of glucose. It's a sugar with 6 carbon atoms.
6 carbons, okay.
Glycolysis runs it through a series of chemical steps, and it breaks that 1,6-carbon glucose
Yeah.
to 2 molecules of pyruvate,
Yeah.
or you might see it called pyruvic acid. Same thing.
And pyruvate has?
3 carbons each. So 2 times 3. You've still got the original 6 carbons, just split into 2 pieces.
Makes sense. 6 becomes 2 threes. But what about the energy, the ATP?
Ah, right, the energy accounting. It's interesting. Glycolysis actually has 2 phases.
Okay.
There's an input phase where the cell has to spend 2 ATP to get things rolling.
Like an investment.
Exactly. You got to prime the pump. One source used the analogy of starting a car needs a spark.
I like that. So invest 2 ATP.
And then in the output phase, it generates 4 ATP. And it also makes 2 NADH molecules.
NADH, what are those?
Think of them as electron carriers, like little rechargeable batteries that will carry energy to be converted into more ATP later on down the line.
Okay, so NADH is important for later, but for direct ATP from glycolysis, you spend 2, you make 4.
So the net gain is 2 ATP.
Just 2 ATP. Which, when you think about it, seems like a lot of work for a pretty small immediate payoff, right?
Yeah, it does actually. Only 2.
Only 2 net ATP directly from glycolysis. But it's absolutely vital. It's the necessary first step. Without it, nothing else happens.
Okay, so glycolysis finishes, leaves us with these 2 pyruvate molecules. And you said earlier it's anaerobic, but now oxygen matters.
Precisely. This is the big fork in the road for pyruvate. The cell basically asks, okay, is oxygen available now?
And the answer changes everything.
Completely. Path 1, if oxygen is present.
The preferred route.
The preferred, much more efficient route, yes.
Yeah.
Cellular respiration continues. That pyruvate molecule gets shuttled into the mitochondria.
The powerhouses.
Yep. And inside, it gets converted into something called acetyl-CoA. Think of that as the ticket to the main energy-generating show that happens next in the mitochondria. Okay, so with oxygen, pyruvate goes to the mitochondria, becomes acetyl-CoA, and then much more ATP is made later. We don't need the details now, but that's the path.
That's the high-efficiency path. But what if the answer to the oxygen question is no?
Ah, right. Path 2, no oxygen.
If there's no oxygen or not enough, the main cellular respiration pathway just stops. It can't run.
So the cell needs a plan B.
Exactly. And that plan B is fermentation. It's like an emergency bypass, a way to keep things going, kind of.
And fermentation, like glycolysis, is also anaerobic. Still no oxygen needed.
Still anaerobic. That's the whole point. It's what cells do because there's no oxygen.
Okay, and you mentioned there are different types.
Yeah, two main ones are really relevant for us. First, lactic acid fermentation.
Lactic acid. That sounds familiar. Like exercise?
You got it. This happens in our own muscle cells. When you're exercising really intensely, your muscles might use up oxygen faster than your blood can deliver it.
Right, you feel that burn.
That burn, that's largely the buildup of lactic acid from this fermentation process kicking in.
Right.
It's your muscles desperately trying to make some ATP without enough oxygen. It's a direct link.
Wow, okay, so that tired, burning feeling is actually biochemistry happening because I'm out of breath, essentially.
Pretty much, it's your body's short-term fix.
Okay, that's one type. What's the other?
The other big one is alcoholic fermentation.
And that's not us, right?
No, haha, definitely not us. This is what yeast does. And some bacteria, too.
The yeast from the bread and brewing examples earlier.
The very same. When yeast finds itself without oxygen, it takes that pyruvate from glycolysis.
And turns it into...
It turns it into ethanol.
Huh.
It's the alcohol and carbon dioxide.
Ah, the CO2. That's why bread rises and beer is bubbly.
Exactly. The yeast is just trying to survive and regenerate a molecule. It needs to keep glycolysis going, but we get bread and booze out of it. Pretty neat deal for us.
It really is. But let's go back to the energy. Glycolysis gave us a net of 2 ATP. How much ATP does fermentation give us? Lactic acid or alcoholic?
And this is the crucial point. Fermentation itself doesn't produce any more ATP.
No.
Zero. The only ATP gained in the whole anaerobic process, glycolysis plus fermentation, is just that net 2 ATP from glycolysis way back at the start.
So wait, if you have oxygen, you go through glycolysis, then the mitochondria, and get how much ATP total?
With oxygen, the full cellular respiration process, starting with that one glucose molecule, can yield somewhere around 36 to 38 ATP.
36 to 38 ATP with oxygen versus just 2 ATP without oxygen using fermentation.
See the difference? It's huge.
That's incredibly inefficient. Why would any cell bother with fermentation if the payoff is so tiny compared to the alternative?
Survival. Immediate need. When oxygen just isn't there, 2 ATP is way better than 0 ATP.
Right, it keeps the lights on, barely.
Exactly. It allows the cell to keep glycolysis running, at least for a while, to generate some energy for essential functions. Think of it like sprinting versus running a marathon. Fermentation is the sprint, quick burst, unsustainable, inefficient. Aerobic respiration is the marathon slower start, maybe, but way more energy output, much more sustainable.
Okay, that makes sense. It's an emergency backup, not the main plan.
Precisely. A vital adaptation for low oxygen situations.
Okay, so let's recap this whole journey. It all starts with glycolysis, breaking down glucose, no oxygen needed, happens in the cytoplasm, nets us 2 ATP and 2 pyruvate.
The universal first step. Correct.
Then pyruvate reaches a crossroads, oxygen available.
Yep. Pyruvate heads to the mitochondria, gets converted, and sets up the big ATP payoff 36 to 38 total, the efficient route.
No oxygen available.
The cell shifts gears to fermentation. In us, it's lactic acid fermentation in muscles during intense work. In yeast, it's alcoholic fermentation making ethanol and CO2.
And the key takeaway there is that fermentation itself makes no extra ATP. The total yield without oxygen is stuck at just the 2 ATP from glycolysis.
That's the bottom line. Much, much less efficient, but sometimes it's the only option.
Thinking about this huge difference in efficiency, it really highlights how important oxygen is, doesn't it? For endurance, for complex life.
Absolutely. It shapes entire ecosystems, how organisms live, how active they can be.
And connecting it back to that muscle burn, if that lactic acid builds up during fermentation when oxygen is low, what do you think happens to it afterwards? When you slow down, catch your breath, and oxygen starts flowing back to the muscles, where does that tired feeling go, and how does the cell recover?
Yeah. How does the body clear that out and get back to the efficient pathway? That's definitely something interesting for you to ponder.